In one of my most recent videos, I talked about how to increase sales on eBay. And today I'm going to do some more of those activities. I'm always doing them and I do them throughout the day, but I'm going to talk about them in this video. I am going to start to do a more systematic inventory of my eBay store specifically, because that's my biggest platform. That's where I list all of my items go there. Then I sometimes list on Etsy and Poshmark. That's my cross-posting areas. And so the first thing I want to do is start with my box of dishes. There's another box of dishes I want to look at because I want to make sure that they're listed, that the titles are correct, that the weight on the shipping is correct, the dimensions, all of that good stuff. And look at the prices and see whether or not the prices have changed on those items or not, and then adjust everything accordingly. And so I'm going to start with this box, which happens to have, I'll just pull out one of the items here. This is the Franciscan Desert Rose. I bought a partial set of this. I have sold off quite a few pieces so far. And so I do know this is up on my Etsy because my Etsy shop is pretty small and I see those items, I go in and kind of look through them and I see them all the time, or I'm always selecting the items for my sales. So I kind of know that these are up on my Etsy. So I'm specifically only going to go to my eBay and take a look and see what I find. Here are the items that were in the box. It's a set of Franciscan Desert Rose. And when I went on my eBay store, the only thing listed up there was this. That would explain why nothing else in this is selling, although technically I do have these cross-posted to Etsy. I did sell some of this on eBay and some of the set on Etsy, so they are selling in both places. Now, I have a few pieces that have marks on them like this. So I'm thinking I probably didn't have this listed on purpose. And then I think one of the little plates here, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there's one over here. This one's chipped. So these items that are chipped and broken, I actually do not want these listed in my shop, either shop. Oh, there it is. So you can see it's damaged on the edge there. So these items are going to go in my box that I have downstairs in the basement that has all of my broken, chipped, cracked ceramic pieces that I'm either going to make a mosaic with it, or I'm going to give it to some artist to make something out of it. I know people make jewelry and things out of this, to make all kinds of art out of the broken vintage dishes. So anyways, I need to get listing and get this listed up. This is exactly why I wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I just recently watched a video by the Rural Squirrel where she was doing it. She did it slightly different than the way I'm doing it. So I would suggest everyone do with their inventory how they want to do it. Like, there's multiple ways to do it. I am just going to pick up random boxes. I'm going to go through my shelves and make sure everything's listed. I want to make sure that my listed inventory is actually listed, and then I will get to listing some more unlisted inventory from my death pile. I got all of these items relisted in my eBay store, and as I was listing them, I remembered now why I don't have these listed. I had set these up initially as sets of like a dinner plate, the salad plate, and a teacup and saucer, kind of like sets that way. But then on my Etsy store, I had listed like the dessert plates or salad plates together as a set. and they got sold. And so then I had to take down my listings on eBay. And of course, I should have immediately grabbed this box and retook the pictures and listed things up in a different way. And of course, I intended to do that, but it never happened. And I just kept buying and listing other things that I was sourcing, and I just never got back to this. And this is why you have to go through your inventory. Is you never know when you either delisted something yourself, which I did that a long time ago and intend to take new pictures and relist it, or it could be a mistake where, you put it up for auction and it ran for the 8-9 times that they allow it. Then they take it down and it's not listed at all. They still give you a chance to relist it. But after about 3 months, eBay deletes that listing. And that can happen to just about anybody, especially if you're trying to grow your store and you're trying to get, more and more of your new items that you just sourced up on, for sale. And so, yeah, so now these are back up for sale, and hopefully I can get these moving out. Here is my box that I keep in the basement of all of my items that are chipped up. This one, look, big giant chip out of it. I had to buy the entire stack of dishes in order to get these, and the reason I wanted them was because they were Limoges. I sold the other 4 plates and it was a good deal, so I don't mind putting something like that in my box here. And all of these items have things wrong with them, and I'm going to, now I have my box of Franciscan Desert Rose all tucked in on my shelf here in the basement. Let's go up and do some more inventory. Here is my next box that I'm going to tackle. This is another set of dishes that I used to keep under my desk. I have rearranged my emporium and I decided to pull this out from underneath my desk, and I'm going to get it down in the basement. But before I do that, I want to make sure everything in this box is listed. And like I said before, looking at descriptions, weights, measurements, everything you can think of, prices, all that. So although it's a bit of a pain to have to unwrap everything, I want to go ahead and do this as part of my process, and it'll help, stimulate the algorithm on eBay if you are touching the items in terms of the listings and making minor adjustments to them. And if there's anything in here that's not listed, or I want to retake pictures or anything like that, now's the time to do it. Here is what I have left of this set of dishes. It is vintage. It's Mikasa, the Dresden Rose. I just recently sold one of these chop plates. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of this set left. It was a large set, 54 pieces. I paid $49.99 for it. And I have sold off 15 of the pieces so far. And my profit on those, gross profit was $66. So you have to minus out cost of goods and fees and all that other good stuff. But I'm basically in the profit for this set. So as I continue to sell it off, I make more than double my money back. I'm just going to double check everything on eBay for this inventory project that I'm working on, and if it's all good, then down to the basement it goes. Well, that was easy to do. These were all listed. I don't have to take pictures. I'm just going to wrap them back up into that box and take it down to the basement. So another way I'm doing this, and I mentioned it in the other video, is I go onto my eBay store, go into my listings, hit find, and I just put in a general term like mugs. These 2 items, or it's actually 1 listing, but 2 items came up as mugs. And I'm like, that is not a mug. These are teacups. So then I look to see why are they coming up as mugs, and here is the category that they're listed in. So what happens is when you change the category, you got to go in and update all the details in the required listing area. And so I had to go in and do that. And as I was in the middle of doing that, I was putting in the brand, and I put in CUL not THCUL, Bertson. That's what was in my listing. It was in the title, the description, it was everywhere. For whatever reason, and this is why you double check and want to do this, is I had this listed under the wrong name. That would be why these have not sold. They have been listed in my eBay store for a long, long time. And they were under mugs and they were misspelled. So now I have them all set up. These are vintage teacups. They are so adorable. They got the holly and they got the mistletoe in it. In the inside of the cup. Isn't that just adorable? So now I'm hoping that they will sell. So back to my physical inventory. When I pull out these drawers, now I can't pull them fully out because they actually do fully come out. I am noticing that there is unlisted inventory in here, unless this is on my daughter Green Bee Explorer's eBay page, which it could be. So now I have to double check to see if that is listed, and this little item here. I know these items right here are listed, but I'm going to have to double check everything in these drawers. I know those are listed. I know these are listed. I'm not so sure about that. I got to double check that one. I know those are listed. And it just goes on and on as I go through each one of these drawers. And I'm going to pull out anything that's not listed. And then I will get that into my death pile. And then I will get them all up on eBay. This is a tedious process. And it also helps me to know where things are located. Because every once in a while, because I don't have the best inventory system that way either, is that I don't mark where the items are being stored while they're waiting to be sold. I did a quick review on my daughter's eBay page, and sure enough, this item is not listed. It's so pretty. Look at that design on the inside. This is a Starbucks. It's like a mug that looks like a teacup. It's like a teacup mug. I think I would still put that up as a mug because so many people look for Starbucks mugs and not teacups, although they do sell tea there. And then this little item, this little trinket box is not listed. And then when I was in her page and looking around, I saw that she had this little figurine, which I knew was in the closet that I keep most of her items in. And she only had it listed up for $2. But this is a vintage, made in Japan, ceramic dog. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, why does she have that up for $2? And also, why didn't it already sell? And then I was looking at it, and she didn't have any measurements or anything like that. So I went in and quickly revised the dimensions on it, put the measurements in, and I revised the price on it. As far as these items, I have so much of my own items to list and take pictures and do all of that. I'm going to let her do that. She's coming down to the house for the holidays, so I'm going to go through with her store, and we can get all these other items that are missing from her store listed, and then it'll make it easier to manage her store. The only thing I do for her really is the shipping. This is the first time in all these years that I've actually went in and revised a listing for her. I hope you guys are learning something about doing your inventory and updating your eBay store. I know I am. I'm learning a lot. I have to definitely get myself a little bit more organized and constantly be auditing my store so that I know whether or not things are listed, whether they're spelled right, listed correctly, all of that. Or in the case of I took down listings and forgot to relist it. That is definitely not a good way to sell anything. The whole purpose is to get the items listed, sell it, makes that profit, flipping for profit, make the profit. And it's a little hard to do that when your listings aren't, up there and correct, or you need better pictures, you need better descriptions, you need some measurements in there, whatever it is. There's just so many minutiae, and I can't imagine if you have a gigantic store, how you would go about doing this, or whether you just don't do it. But I have a small enough store. I think I can just keep working at this, and I suggest that everybody else do it too. And when my daughter gets here, definitely going to review her store, or she can do that herself. And if she needs to relist things, she can relist stuff, or list stuff in general. I was just looking at some of the items that are in the closet there, and I see items that I know are hers that are not on her store. So she has a few more items that she needs to get up onto her store. And the whole purpose of me doing this is to help bring in more sales. I want to bring in more sales. However, it is the holidays and I am shutting down my store for the holidays. So that's going to hurt a little bit. It always hurts when you put yourself on time away, and I'm going to do it so that people cannot buy at all. I don't want to have to worry about having to hurry up and ship anything, because I'm going to be home for part of it and not home for the other part of the holidays, and it's just too much. So I am shutting down my stores so that I can completely relax away from my reselling business, and then I will get back to it as soon as it goes back live again, and then I can get back to doing more of this inventory updating and double checking, and then hopefully January the sales start rolling back in again. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.